Hey everyone, welcome back to the Off the Mic Sports Network. The latest edition here of Off the Top Rope, our wrestling content portion of the channel. Got an interesting topic that I want to discuss. I want to talk about the state of the AEW main event scene here because I think AEW has a lot of confusing things going on right now. But what else is new? That's been this company for a year or so. And so we're coming out of All Out, and Bryan Danielson is the world champion, but he's been suffocated, and he wasn't going to defend the world championship. He was supposed to defend it against Darby Allin, who had already won a title match, but Jon Moxley said suffocated Bryan Danielson, effectively taking him out. And then 20 minutes later, Bryan Danielson is booked in a match against Nigel McGuinness, admittedly an awesome chain of events, but really convoluted and doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And some people will say, yeah, you know what, this match has been in the making for a decade and they've got a rich history. That's not my issue. My issue is your world champion was written off television, was taken out of an advertised world title match and then that title shot that was supposed to be cashed in upon at said event in Grand Slam is not going to happen. It's actually up for grabs between Jon Moxley and Darby Allin. Also, while this is all going on, you've got Christian Cage roaming around with a contract that's effectively money in the bank, and he could just execute it whenever the hell he wants. So, Bryan Danielson is going to have a non-title match at Grand Slam against Nigel McGuinness, a dream match, great. It was lazily booked, and it was just kind of thrown together. It almost feels like they're doing it for tickets. So that's your main event scene. Just a mess. Meanwhile, to quote Stephen Colbert and his great bit that he does on his show, meanwhile, Hangman Adam Page just beat Swerve Strickland in one of the most violent matches in AEW history to finally get, after chasing it for a year, and this character metamorphosis from lovable cowboy to deranged maniac was finally complete at All Out. There were spots in that match that I did not like, but the facts are the facts. That match main evented that show over the World Championship. Why is Hangman Adam Page not involved at all in this main event picture or the world title? I understand that Jon Moxley is one of your aces. Hangman Adam Page, all due respect to Jon Moxley, Hangman Adam Page is the best thing that this company has got going, and it is not close. He's one of the best things in professional wrestling. He's one of the only redeeming parts about AEW right now. That's just the reality of where this thing is. Like, this metamorphosis that he has done in the last year, from the most beloved babyface in this company to just deranged maniac who's willing to put a syringe inside a guy's mouth, bash a guy over the head, burn a guy's house down. The metamorphosis to that is one of the great character arcs that I have ever seen. And the fact that this guy was basically a background character leading into All In, he did factor into the decision at All In, effectively costing Swerve the championship. But I have no fucking idea why this convoluted setup that we have in the main event of AEW is going on, and Hangman Adam Page doesn't factor into any of it. What sense is there in that? This guy should be the world champion. You just told us that he was more important than the world title. And some of it was the feud with Swerve Strickland was so much bigger, and obviously you can say, lights out, they have to do it last. But still, the point is, that match main evented one of your biggest pay-per-views. This guy has consistently delivered no matter what he has been given. He has made Jeff Jarrett relevant, for God's sake. And I just don't get it, man. I don't understand. Every time that this guy gets screen time, whether it's a backstage promo or it's a match, he always fucking delivers. Yet we are giving Chris Jericho meaningful minutes of television. We are putting Darby Allin, all due respect to Darby Allin. I kind of agree with Jon Moxley. I don't think Darby Allin's ready to be the world champion. I don't think he's ready for it. And Jon Moxley's already been the world champion 3 times. Hangman's had one world title reign that, as much as I love CM Punk, that if CM Punk doesn't become the world champion, we might live in an alternative reality right now. But going back to the initial point of, laying out what I think this AEW main event scene is on the men's side, it's a disaster, man. And Tony Khan screwed himself by booking so many title matches ahead. Hangman should have won the damn gauntlet, the Casino Gauntlet. That seemed like the most logical thing ever. But you give it to Christian, who I love and adore. But Christian, at this stage in his career, I can't buy into him as a world champion either. Like, that just doesn't make a lick of sense either. So I have no idea what the direction of this company is. It feels like they're just throwing shit at the wall and hoping that it sticks. Because the clear path that they're giving us right now, Darby's going to lose that match at Grand Slam. It just feels like the logical point, because if Jon Moxley loses, you completely undermine all of the arc and all of the stuff. You've already done it, because Jon Moxley's suffocation spot just immediately went dead, just like this, how bad that spot was. With Bryan Danielson effectively going to work another match that's a non-title match, which, again, it's still like I'm losing my mind over that shit. But you've got to... Hangman has got to be in this, and I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning is. Maybe they're delaying it so that way they can get to the point where, Hangman can win it next year, and then when Swerve comes back, they end up doing another match with Swerve and Hangman at that all in Texas, which would be interesting. But yeah, I go back to the whole thing. Your best star, heel or face, the best thing in your company right now, AEW, is Hangman Adam Page. It's not even close. It really isn't. And I give a lot of credit to Swerve Strickland for helping elevate and making this character, move, this character, metamorphosis really work. But seeing everything play out in the last, handful of weeks, and seeing how the world title was lost by Bryan Danielson, what happened at All Out, Swerve's effectively out of the picture. You've got a babyface world champion, and you're going to go with a different heel in Jon Moxley, who, all due respect to him and all that he has accomplished, he does not need the world title either. Darby Allin is not ready for the world title. He's not. So, and then Christian, God bless him, I love the guy. What the fuck is he doing walking around with a guaranteed world title contract? Your best thing in your company. You just had a main event your pay-per-view. He has pulled off one of the great character arcs that I've ever seen in professional wrestling. And you continue to just give him minimal, basic segments backstage while Chris Jericho is getting more TV time. Figure it out, AEW. You're starting to lose me. I really want this to work. Everybody thinks that I'm negative about AEW, but it's when I see stuff like this, and when guys like a Hangman, who are so effing good, and have done some of the best work that I've seen in all of wrestling in the last year. That's including WWE. And he's getting less TV time than Chris Jericho, and he can't get in the world title picture over a guy in Jon Moxley who was off television for 2.5, 3 months, while Hangman was involved in one of the best storylines in this company. Hangman took some time off, but that's because his wife had a baby. His wife had another baby. I don't understand it. I really don't. So, thanks for watching this latest Off the Top Rope segment. We'll have a lot more great content during the week, obviously reviewing all the main shows, Raw, SmackDown, maybe some NXT will mix in because we're getting towards that debut. Also AEW Dynamite. Hopefully it'll be good this week. And yeah, talk to you guys real soon. Bye-bye.